years. And, but yeah, I mean, when I really get into that stuff, mostly I just can't do anything else, especially when I'm in the editing process, because it's just too much to handle. And that's probably why it's not getting finished.
Yeah. Is it something different from the other ones? Is it kind of the same vein, or what's the?
It's
obviously it's you, but
it is not. It's a break. I would say the first 3 surf films had a similar line through them, and I would say that in a way they were kind of like educational. Because like if you think about it, it was like it really kind of spelled it out. It was like, okay, if you want to surf like this, you can ride this, you know. And even like a lot of the films had every single board listed, sizes, like all the dimensions from front of the movie to the back of the movie. So it's like you watch the movie, if you want to surf like that, you read it, you go, oh, I can call that guy, get that board, try to surf like that, you know. And it was like, I don't think there was that much information out there for people to connect those dots at that time. And I feel like now I think that work is done. And I don't want to make another movie like that. And this one's probably far more kind of expressive, kind of emotional, you know, I just, you know, like whatever, I assume we have probably similar political views. I don't know, but
yeah, we do.
I just feel that I'm generally worried. I'm glad that I'm glad that the 60-foot pile of steaming orange shit is maybe going to be going away, hopefully. But I just feel like we're at a point historically where corporate interest is so deep in the top part of our country that, like, I'm just afraid. I'm afraid where this COVID thing could go. I'm afraid where, you know, everything's monetized, you know, and I'm tripping on, you know, like you have like the corporately curated media, like all the main networks, Facebook, Google, whatever. It's just all there. So everyone's just like, okay, that's the show. That's the show that's being presented to us. You know, it's like, I'm just worried. I'm worried about all the sides, you know, so I feel like there's just this huge gap between like us. We probably want a decent place to live. We want our families and ourselves to have decent food and love, some interesting activities. You know, the things that we want are probably pretty similar and pretty simple. And I think like when you get the stretch between the normal people and the people that are playing roulette and like gambling in the top of like the money movement, which is really the people that run the world. I just feel like the space is so big, you know, or the perception is so big between what we're looking at and these people playing in that other realm. And so anyway, long story long, I'm just kind of like, I'm worried in general. And I think that I honestly don't think any of my work in the future will not be influenced by that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, I think very macroscopically about how all of this is affecting, of course, everyone, but how is it affecting artists? And
Mm-hmm.
you know, it affects them financially, it affects them emotionally, it affects them creatively, it affects them in so many ways. And there are many types of artists who, there are political artists, and I know other artists who do not put their political views out there in their work, and they don't wear their heart on their sleeve. They make work that has nothing to do with politics and how they feel about it. But I think and wonder about how we all collectively as a creative community are going to internalize this, like right now, very acutely, and then 5-10 years down the road, like what's that going to look like in our work? What's that going to look like in the art industry? What's it going to,
You could argue that art cannot not be political, even like not being political in your art is a political move. So it's kind of a, I wonder how
That's what I think. I think everyone's political, regardless. Like the saints that I was talking about.
right.
Like you look at those, and I'm sure you were not thinking politically. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you were, but I was thinking about that all the time. I was like, like.
Well, they were aggressive to me. They were scared. They were whimsical and scary and aggressive. And I was like, where is this coming from? Given the type of work that I know you to make, why did that happen? Right?
Yeah, sure.
So,
do you think that the current climate is different from when you were a young artist politically? Like you were kicking off, like, with the alleged gallery and things like that. Lower East Side was attainable; you could live there. Do you think that things have changed significantly since those times?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's accustomed to. I think like corporate control. I feel like we're kind of in a death spiral of corporate control, and I feel like it's kind of like a chokehold mechanism, but it only goes in one direction. Like it's just this. It's not like, oh, we need to loosen up. It's like, it's going. And I feel like also, and then with in turn with the dimension of like social media and then like the the interactiveness of like probably like everything you say on your goddamn phone is recorded.
True.
Right? I mean, like you say the thing, you're like, oh, I need WD-40 or something, and then a freaking ad comes up for it. It's like, dude, that's a crazy moment that we all have this thing, and we have a recording device, and it's recording everything.
It's a tracker. It's a tracker.
Yeah, all of it, like on every level. So I mean, I just feel that we're at a really crazy. It's just like a really crazy moment. And so when you ask me if it's different, it's like, I mean, I didn't have a cell phone when I was living on the Lower East Side. Like I was like, just go out my door and go skating all day, and like put my bag on with my cameras and go shoot pictures or do whatever, or like it's just, I just feel like technologically we're at a much different place, and like then when they're talking about like facial recognition and whatever, I don't want to come off as like this super paranoid person, but these things are just in our face.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm willingly participating. I have the iPhone and like it's, so I mean, that's a big part of the equation. It's like, how does this play out?
Well, some people try and detach from it completely. Like I was over at the Patagonia headquarters, and Yvonne's little office doesn't even, like, he's got like a landline, but I think that's actually a point of privilege at a certain point to not have to have the phone.
Yes. I was talking about that yesterday with my friend. Like we were talking about it when, like, he's like, would you like to not use it? And I was like, yes, I would. I would really like I'm planning in the future to move towards being able not to. But at this point, my job is so intertwined in it,
Right.
that, like, I will have to get very creative to get out of there, and I want to. I really do.
Yeah.
I would like to be less involved, and and people might laugh at that because if people really know like what I do on it, it's a lot, but
well, it's an amazing creative tool. If you want to look at it in one way, it's an amazing creative tool. It's an amazing communication tool. But there was a time where we didn't have one. I'll tell you what. I got my first cell phone when I was 30 years old, and I'll tell you why I got one. All right, because I had an appointment at a gallery in Chelsea, and I was running late, and I didn't own a phone, and I was running around like crazy looking for a fucking pay phone that I could stick a quarter into, and I couldn't find one. Right. So I was like, wow, well, maybe this is the crossroads. Like I now need this thing that is going to like connect me to the rest of the world like everyone else. But like, once I dive in, I'm done. And I tell this funny story to my students. I say to them, there was a day where like my parents kicked me out of the house and said, don't come back until dinner time. Right. And I didn't have a phone. All I had was a bicycle. Right?
Can you bring me the remote? Sorry.
And, no, and was your daughter?
Yeah. Here, Bubs, come over here for a second. Come here.
Oh, hey.
She's super cute.
They live on the East Coast.
Yeah.
They live kind of far away, like halfway between where here and where Hobby lives.
Wow.
Just a little bit.
Pretty far, huh?
Mm-hmm.
What did we do today?
You have to tell.
No, you tell them.
No.
We went on a canoe trip.
Oh, wow.
We went down to this estuary down by the ocean, and we went back in the estuary. We saw some ducks.
No, please watch something else.
Yep, you can.
But
Okay.
you have to turn.
Want to say bye?
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bangs, man. That's funny.
Oh, just 1 second, guys.
Yeah, go for it. I know what you're doing.
What's so funny is the fact that the three of us all have little kids. I'm like, I get it.
Did you see Luna's head here for about 20 minutes under my armpit? You'll see it in the video. She's just sitting there watching.
Just get that. Stop watching. Okay.
Yeah, the cell phone thing's quite interesting. I was living on Fire Island when I was 16, lifeguarding, but I you had to take a boat to get there. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but my parents wouldn't hear from me for 3 or 4 days at a clip, and I was, relatively young man. My dad snuck me off to the mall and goes, "We have to get you a cell phone because your mom's afraid of what you're doing." And I was like, okay, like
the phone is not going to stop you from doing what you want to do.
But it was a way of them controlling my activities even then.